Once upon a time, in a small village of Rajasthan named Surajpur, nestled on the edge of the vast desert, there lived a woodcutter carpenter. During the day, the sun blazed so fiercely that people stayed huddled inside their mud houses, and at night, the air grew so cold that the stars shimmered like diamonds scattered across black velvet. Surajpur was far from the big cities. Life here was simple, honest, and slow. The carpenter's name was Ram Lal. He was a master craftsman whose fingers touched wood the way a magician touches his wand. From his hands came beautiful doors, carved windows, sturdy chairs, and sometimes little toys for the village children. His tiny shop stood in the middle of the village square, where people never tired of praising his skill. Ram Lal lived alone. His wife had passed away many years ago, and the gods had never blessed them with children. He worked all day and, when night fell, sat in his small courtyard feeling the silence of an empty home. One evening, as he stared at a fine piece of sandalwood, a thought struck him like lightning. Why not make a doll that looks exactly like a living girl? He had always longed for a daughter who would fill his lonely days with laughter. The idea set his heart on fire. The very next morning, Ram Lal began. He chose the finest wood from the sparse trees that grew along the desert's edge, soft, fragrant, and glowing like a queen's skin. Day and night he worked. First, he shaped the body, long, graceful legs, delicate arms, and a face so lovely it could make the moon shy. For hair, he used silky black threads that flowed like a midnight river. The eyes were made of tiny pieces of blue glass that sparkled like the desert sky after rain. Nose, ears, lips, every detail was perfect. He stitched colorful clothes just like the village girls wore. When the doll was finished, anyone who saw her stood speechless. Ram Lal named her Roopa, which means beautiful beyond words. After weeks of tireless labor, Roopa was ready. Ram Lal would gaze at her and smile, yet a quiet sadness lingered in his heart. If only she could speak, laugh, and cry, he whispered. One day, a learned Brahmin named Pandit Vishnu Das passed through the village. He was returning from a distant temple, his forehead marked with sacred ash, his eyes deep with ancient knowledge. Ram Lal showed him the doll and said, with folded hands, "Panditji, I have made her with all my heart and skill, but if you breathe life into her, she will truly become alive. I will remain forever grateful for your kindness." Pandit Vishnu Das looked at Roopa and smiled gently. "Ram Lal, your devotion is clear in every curve and carving. Very well, I will try." He prepared a small sacred space under the peepal tree, lit a little fire, and began chanting powerful mantras. The air grew thick with their sound. He sprinkled holy water and invoked prana, the breath of life. Suddenly, the doll's glass eyes blinked. Her chest rose and fell, and she became a living, breathing girl. Roopa stood up, walked a few steps, and smiled at Ram Lal. Tears of joy rolled down the carpenter's cheeks. "My daughter, you are alive!" he cried, embracing her. News of Roopa's beauty spread like wildfire. People came from nearby villages just to catch a glimpse of her. She was not only beautiful, but wise and kind. She helped the women fetch water, cooked with them, and won every heart. Ram Lal loved her as his own daughter, and Pandit Vishnu Das would visit now and then, pleased with the life he had given. But great beauty rarely comes without trouble. It often brings envy and greed in its wake. One day, a prince named Veer Singh arrived in Surajpur. Heir to a nearby kingdom, he had come hunting in the desert. When he saw Roopa drawing water from the well, her gungat fluttering in the breeze, he forgot the hunt entirely. Her eyes, her smile, the grace in her walk, he was enchanted. "This girl is fit to be my queen," he declared. He went to Ram Lal and said, She will come with me to the palace and live as royalty. Ram Lal refused politely. No, Prince, she is my daughter. I made her with these hands. A few days later, a wealthy merchant named Lal Ji arrived from the city, his camels laden with silks, jewels, and spices. When he saw Roopa, desire lit his eyes. She will be my wife, he decided. He offered Ram Lal a huge sum of money. Name your price, I will pay anything. Ram Lal grew angry and sent him away. Now 4 people laid claim to Roopa. Ram Lal, the carpenter, who had created her body with his own hands, Pandit Vishnu Das, who had given her the breath of life, Prince Veer Singh, who wanted her to be his queen, and merchant Lal Ji, who wished to buy her with gold. The quarrel grew loud and bitter. The village elders could not decide. Finally, the matter reached the king of the kingdom, the just and wise Raja Bhupal Singh. He summoned everyone to his grand darbar hall. One by one, they presented their claims. Ram Lal spoke first, his voice trembling with a father's pain. Maharaj, I carved her from wood. I worked night and day until my fingers bled. She is the fruit of my labor and love. She is mine. Pandit Vishnu Das spoke next, calm and certain. Maharaj, without the life I breathed into her through sacred mantras, she would still be nothing but wooden doll. I gave her prana. She belongs to me. Prince Veer Singh stood tall, his royal turban gleaming. Maharaj, her beauty belongs in a palace. I will make her my queen and give her a life of luxury. She is worthy of royalty. Merchant Lal Ji opened a chest overflowing with gold coins and jewels. Maharaj, I will pay any price, more than anyone can imagine. Wealth can buy anything. She will be mine. The king listened silently. The great hall fell quiet. Then the king turned to the girl herself and asked, gently, Roopa, tell us, whom do you belong to? Speak from your heart. Roopa lowered her eyes shyly, her cheeks flushed like desert roses. She glanced towards Pandit Vishnu Das and said, softly, Maharaj, the one who gave me life is everything to me. Without life, I was nothing, just wood and paint. Pandit Ji gave me this precious gift of breath and soul. He is my true lord and guardian. The king smiled wisely and announced his judgment. Roopa has spoken the truth. The one who gives us life is the real master. The body may be fashioned by hands, adorned with beauty or bought with gold, but without the spark of life, it is worthless. Roopa shall live with Pandit Vishnu Das. Everyone accepted the king's fair decision. Ram Lal wiped his tears, knowing his daughter would be cared for. The prince and the merchant left, their pride softened by the wisdom they had witnessed. Pandit Vishnu Das and Roopa built a small ashram on the village outskirts, beneath the same peepal tree where she had first opened her eyes. There they lived peacefully, Roopa serving her guru with devotion, and the Brahmin guiding her gently through life. The village children came to hear stories, the sick came for blessings, and peace returned to Surajpur. Years later, travelers passing through the desert still spoke of the wooden doll who came to life and of the king's judgment that taught the world a timeless truth. The one who gives us life, be it a parent, a teacher, or the divine itself, is our true and only master. Everything else, skill, beauty, power, and wealth, is secondary to the priceless gift of life.